Joe Hart, lovely to see you here in the Premier League studios in London. How are you, first of all?
I'm good, thank you. I'm really good.
Fabulous. Look, we're going to discuss your great career very soon, and the highs and lows like every footballer has. But first of all, I want to hear your reaction to your former club, Man City. Obviously, we're sitting here before the Liverpool-Man City game at Anfield on a Sunday, and hindsight is a wonderful thing. That interview is going to be after the game. So how do you see that game at Anfield? And also, what do you think is not working for City at the moment? It feels like a crisis in their perspective because the high standard they show for a while.
So usually I could sit here and give you an educated answer to how do I see that game going. I don't know. I think that's the beauty of the game. The Manchester City situation that you talked about, you just presume that they're going to sort themselves out, but they've not been able to shake it off through, Champions League, especially to be so far in the lead and throw it away. The fear factor's 100% gone. There'll be an expectant crowd on Sunday. Liverpool are in an incredible run of form. They're doing business. They're not sparkling necessarily, but they are really they're the opposite to Manchester City right now.
They're the best team in Europe at the moment.
Yeah, well, City are playing some good football. They're exciting, but they're losing ultimately. And Liverpool they just look like a well-oiled machine. So, but Manchester City's capability never write them off.
Mohamed Salah. מה הוא עושה? מעביר כדור! שער! זה קל מדי! ליברפול גדולה על האלופה! כל ניגק פה מקרוב! 1-0 ליברפול.
And in terms of what do you think is not working for City, because all of those defeats that Pep never experienced in his career, let alone the club, what do you think led to it? People say Rodri. That's a big miss, but do you think it's something beyond Rodri's miss?
No, it's definitely beyond Rodri. Respect to Rodri, Ballon d'Or winner, so important in the team. But Manchester City are way more than one cog. They've made that very clear through the years, and the best teams in the world are. I think just at the moment they're just not quite. They're not able to shake off things that haven't quite gone their way. I want to say that any team, any perfect team, has moments, has problems, but they almost have this kind of inevitability about the way they play that they're going to sort it out. And I think Manchester City have relied on that a little bit too much. If we go 2-1 down, doesn't matter, we'll win 3-2. And they're kind of relying on that rather than believing it. Lost a little bit of belief, but it happens. It really does happen. They've got some really cool heads. They've got a great organisation around them. I think the manager signing his new contract was huge. I think that's going to really help them. Yeah, there'll be some internal discussions. It's nothing technical. It's just mentally at the moment, but I'm sure they'll find their way.
Let's talk about your career. You joined Man City, and then a few years later, the team won the Premier League. Did you believe when you joined Man City that the team will eventually become the #1 team in this country? Because we've seen it before with other clubs. A rich owner joins the football club, spend lots of money, and they still fail. Did you believe when you joined City that it will take a few years and then this club will win the Premier League?
Well, no, especially when I signed in 2006, so it was still, locally owned. The end goal was to finish in the Premier League. Then we had a few takeovers. We had Thaksin Shinawatra come in, and we didn't quite know what to believe, to be honest. It was understood they were going to start spending a lot of money, breaking transfer, records. Some players were coming in from all over the world, and then everything got tied up. I think quite legally it got messy, and then we had the Abu Dhabi money come in, and we didn't really know what to think. Honestly, we've seen it with many takeovers. Very rich people, you're going to be able to do. But you don't believe it until you see
promising stuff, and then eventually.
Yeah, but it was. Do you know what I loved about how they did it in the regime? It was very much brick by brick. It wasn't chasing anything. It wasn't making any bold statements. It was brick by brick. Breaking through various barriers, European barriers, Champions League, and then really, really putting a claim to the throne. And, we did that all together, and I'm really proud to be a part of that. 93
minutes, 20 seconds. You were part of this team that provided the most dramatic moment in the history of the Premier League. I remember myself watching it in Israel, back home in my lounge. I had goosebumps just to watch it. You played in this moment. So I'm going to show a couple of clips. And tell me, from your perspective, how did you feel being there? So the first one is the actual play that led to that Aguero goal.
Yeah.
So, here it is.
QPR are safe. They don't know it yet. Balotelli. Aguero! Staggering! Just staggering! He's won the league with 90 seconds of stoppage time to play. Just the most extraordinary scenario you could have dreamt up. Where does football go from here?
We kept banging at the door. We couldn't score. They were making crazy blocks. Paddy Kenny was making miraculous saves, and then this started to unfold. And obviously, I thought, here we go. And Sergio's such a killer in that position. You know, to be able to be cool and calm in that moment. He didn't go down for the penalty. Imagine the drama if he went down and it was a penalty. But pure elation. I actually couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe my eyes, because I'd not given up, but I'd also succumbed to the fact that we might have blown it.
Drama of the ultimate type. Tears of distress turn to tears of unbridled joy.
Emotional day, one that I'd struggle to live again. I'm quite good with most things, but that was too much.
Look, there were quite a lot of people in the stadium that celebrated, but I think you are one of the main candidates for the biggest celebration, the most emotional one. So I want to show your celebration first of all, and explain to me. I mean, how can you, what goes through your body this time of that goosebumps and everything? You're sprinting around.
See, that's the thing. I didn't know this. I didn't know any of this happened. It was a real out-of-body moment experience. I've tried to explain how I felt, but I can't, and I don't know if anything else could happen to make me feel like this. Poor Gale, I nearly shattered him. He actually tapped me and said, "That's enough," because I wasn't going to let him go.
Wow, that's physical.
Yeah, it was that. It was. You don't know what you do in those moments. It was. Yeah, I'll relive that again and again, and you know, really, obviously, just something you look back on and smile, right?
Is there a better scenario than winning the league on the expense of your local rivalry, Man United, literally in the last few seconds of the game?
Yeah, I know, and it was so close at that time. Obviously, for Manchester United, they were the kings of the Premier League, and we were coming for them, right? And it's not hard. Many came, many fell.
And failed. Yeah.
But that's the culmination of a good, probably 2-3 year period building up to that, winning the FA Cup the year before, just breaking through barriers.
You could see it coming. You could feel it's coming.
Sort of, but a lot of us we'd not been in that position before. You know, the manager included. None of us, we knew what it felt like to chase. And actually, during that season, we'd started off so well, and we were like, well, it's easy. And then we fell off, and Manchester United came and they went past us. And it becomes a lot more mental than it does physical, and we stood up to it just.
I'm going to put you in the hot seat now. You played with so many Man City legends now, but if you could choose one, who was the greatest you played with at Man City? The one.
I'm going to say Company, and that's not. I don't say that lightly, because I know maybe if I was a centre midfielder, I'd say David. Or Kevin. Maybe if I was a striker, I'd say Kun, but I'm a defensive player, and to have him doing what he did for the club in terms of on the field, off the field, just a leader and a real animal warrior when he was on the field. I love playing with him.
Company had a look, had a hit. Oh, Captain fantastic! A wild celebration for a goal from his wildest dreams.
Can you see maybe one day managing Man City, maybe after Pep leaves? He's getting good experience now with Bayern Munich.
Yeah, look, I think that'll be something for the future, and it'll be a conversation maybe. But Vinny's very much his own man. He won't be looking to do anything that's laid out for him. He'll do what's right for him, and I know how his head will be working. He'll just be completely in Bayern Munich right now, trying to do the best there.
Speaking of goalkeeper, he's working with an Israeli goalkeeper at Bayern Munich, Daniel Peretz, his second goalkeeper. So we're all very happy with what's happening. We want Daniel Peretz to play even well, but unfortunately for him, he's dealing with Manuel Neuer, which is a big challenge as well. 4 years after winning the Premier League, Pep Guardiola joined the football club. I'm sure you saw Pep's team before he joined Man City with Barcelona, which was outstanding, and Bayern Munich as well.
Yeah.
You had a great status at Man City back then when Pep joined. When Pep joined, did you feel like, you know what, I can still stay at Man City and still be the #1 goalkeeper?
Yeah, of course I did. You know, I was in a point in my life, point in my career. I backed myself to do anything, and you know, given the opportunity, who knows? But he came in with other ideas. Manchester City did absolutely everything they could to bring him in. And look, in hindsight, as a 37-year-old away from football now, I can understand his thought process. I don't agree with him, but that doesn't mean I'm right, he's wrong, doesn't mean he's right, I'm wrong. But he came in and he wanted to play a certain way, and he wasn't sure that I could do it. And that was enough for him to make the decision that, you know, the club were going to back him to get someone in that he knew could. And that was the end of that for me, to be honest. Difficult to take at the time. What was I, 29 years old? You know, I'd been at the club for a long time, had a great relationship with the club, I'd been successful at the club. But football takes twists and turns, and you have to deal with it and get on with it.
Talk me through that moment when you understand your journey at City is over. Is it Pep bringing you to the office and sit down with you for an hour or two and explains everything? Obviously, you said you were a very experienced goalkeeper with a strong status back then. Or was it a very cold conversation on the phone or just physically with him a minute or two and he says, sorry, it's not going to work?
No, we worked it out together, to be honest, and I wasn't going to let it be any other way. I'm okay with news, good, bad, indifferent, as long as it's delivered. And credit to him, we sat down, we went through it. I obviously pushed my side, but he was strong. That's why he is the manager that he is. He has to make big decisions. He stood by it, but it wasn't cold. It wasn't cold at all. You know, remained respectful towards each other the whole time. Whenever we've seen each other, I've got a lot of time, and I'm, you know, I think he's a top manager. So
there's no hard feelings when you see him now at the Etihad. Everything is
no, of course. Yeah, look. Don't get me wrong. There's a part of me that's angry. There's a part of me that's frustrated. But I wouldn't be me if I didn't have that. But at the same time, when I'm able to really calm down and think things logically, and speak to the guy, like he owned it. He told me how he felt. What can I do? I told him how I felt, and we moved forward. And it turned out that he was pretty successful. So what can you say?
הקבוצה הטובה בעולם, שוב אלופת אנגליה, מנצ'סטר סיטי.
After you left, Bravo was in the football club, and then summer 2017, I believe they brought Ederson, which worked really well from City. Ederson is one of the main reasons why they've been so successful. Can you see it from Pep's perspective as well? I mean, his decision in the way he wants to play his football, etc.
If I'm honest, I don't care what his perspective is. He's free to make his own decisions. And once it was made, I was gone. My thought process was elsewhere. Like I say, I've got no ill feelings, and I'm happy for the success of the club. Got loads of people that I still love at that place, but seeing it from his perspective is a waste of energy for me.
And looking it back, obviously, as you said, you're older now, and you see things differently, perhaps. Nearly a decade since, do you think if you would have had a chance, you could have proved him wrong, that maybe you could have changed your game, even despite the fact you're nearly reaching 30, or?
Yeah, 100% about myself. Of course I do, but it doesn't matter now, does it? It really doesn't. But you know, I'd have been willing to learn, you know, to be able to do something that I hadn't necessarily been taught to do would have been interesting, would have been fun. But I also get that he didn't have the time to teach, and he needed someone who knew what they were doing, or he perceived they knew what they were doing.
Let's talk about your England career. You're a part of this, I would say, there was obviously the golden generation, and now we got this generation that is, you know, reached the Euros final two times in a row. You're a part of this generation in between, I would describe it from my perspective. How did you see it? And you played with some wonderful players at England. Do you think you fulfilled your, as a team, your full potential?
No, England, I can't feel anything towards England. Having had so much success in my career and been around the type of players that I played with at England, yeah, it doesn't mean enough. We didn't do enough.
2-1. תשמע, צריך ביצים בגודל של אבטיח קטן כדי לראות כזו בעיטה ברבע גמר. דיאמנטי בפנים! איטליה שולחת את אנגליה הביתה וקונה את הכרטיס לחצי הגמר.
I look back and you know, we gave everything. We really did. Put ourselves in good positions, had good teams. You know, the coaches we had. Just at the big moments, we lost 2-1 or we lost 1-0. There's such fine margins in international football. Club football, you can afford to lose the odd game. You can afford to have the bad, you know, a performance where someone's better than you, and you can still bounce back and recover and still win. In the international game, you can't afford that. The slightest margin and you're gone. And I felt like we fell the wrong side.
Knockout tournaments.
Yeah, we fell the wrong side of some really close games, and then you're out, you're done. Yeah, so I'm very, very proud to have represented. There's two versions of me. There's a young guy from Shrewsbury who's very proud to represent his family, friends.
Dream come true.
Dream come true. You know, I really represent my community and my country, and I'll be forever proud of that. But there's a winning side of me that looks at it and thinks, it didn't do anything with all the time I was given.
יעילות, עוד יעילות עכשיו, הנה זה בא, סיגורצון, פועט את זה, וזה נכנס! איסלנד 2, אנגליה 1, זהו זה, אנגליה בחוץ, איסלנד, היית או חלמתי חלום!
You spoke of the winning part with England and the losing part. I have to bring up, sorry for that, the Iceland defeat in Euro 2016. What do you think happened there, and would you agree with me, in the scale of English football, that's probably the lowest point of England as a national team, that defeat?
No, I'm never going to agree with you with that.
No?
I wouldn't, but look, if you're not winning, then that's the end of it. It doesn't matter who you're against. You know, credit to Iceland, they had a great tournament. They made it very tough, that game. But not too many of us weren't at our best, myself included. You know, I fully held my hands up after the game. I should do better with the second goal, but you know, that's life. You should be able to, in football, you should be able to have bad moments. But I just think credit to Iceland. They played an amazing tournament. You know, they upset a lot of people and have done in recent times. Yeah, unfortunately, we fell the wrong side again. But that was a poor performance. There was only one. We could only look at ourselves after that one, but it happens, right? You move on. Football's a beautiful game.
From your perspective, at the moment, who's the best goalkeeper in the Premier League?
I think there's an incredible array. I think, you know, I think both Brazilian goalkeepers are top. I think Emi Martinez has really proven himself.
Dvert, Arsenal as well.
Yeah, he's having a good time. He's obviously needs to really play at the top for a long time to show what he's about.
Out of all of them, the one that attracts your eye the most at the moment, the one you think this season he's the best? I know there are a lot of options, but
yeah, I struggle with stuff like that, and I'm not even going to give you an answer. I got so much love and respect for all the qualities that everyone's offering. You know, right the way down into the more difficult situations, the Muriches of this world. Like, I know what it takes to be in all those positions, and I just think, yeah, I think the standard's very high.
Title predictions, please, for this season. Liverpool. Can anyone stop Liverpool? Do you think Man City? We saw them doing comebacks in the past. Any chance it's going to happen this year? Yeah,
look, they're capable. Of course they are. They know how to chase. Liverpool have made a really strong start. Really strong. You know, Arsenal, they're going to be there and thereabouts. I think it's between those three.
Okay.
But
you
Liverpool...
can't see Chelsea maybe try or?
No, I don't think this season. I don't think so. But that's not because I think any less of Chelsea as a team. I think they're doing great stuff, and Maresca's, it looks like he's got a great opportunity. But they're one problem away from things just getting blown up again, whereas the other three are far more established. As a, you know, I know Chelsea are established club, but this current team and this current kind of ownership, they're just a little bit, yeah, not yet, but they're making some big moves.
Let's go through the Joe Hart questionnaire. I'm going to throw names of goalkeepers at you.
Right.
2 names. You're going to decide who do you think from your perspective was better, and that name qualifies to the next round. Okay. Ready?
Yep.
Excellent. Shay Given or Jordan Pickford?
Shay Given.
Shay Given or David James?
Shay Given.
Shay Given or David Seaman?
David Seaman.
David Seaman or Ederson?
David Seaman.
David Seaman or David De Gea?
David Seaman.
David Seaman or Peter Schmeichel?
Peter Schmeichel.
Peter Schmeichel or Edwin van der Sar?
Peter Schmeichel.
Peter Schmeichel or Petr Cech?
Petr Cech.
Petr Cech or Joe Hart?
Petr Cech.
All the best. Thank you for your time.
Cheers.
Thank you.